know, they could have hired any Pachuco. But the stories they tell me about you convince me that you're the right man for the job.
I just want that beast to get what he deserves.
Chupacabra.
Myth.
Monster.
People need faith in their lives to keep moving forward. The only superpower you need is your corazon.
What are you? Some freaking ghost hunter now?
I'm the man! Yeah!
Please welcome our current campeón, Guey!
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are here. We are live at the Legacy Comics store here. I am here with Eduardo Tobias and El Guey, ladies and gentlemen. Eduardo, I know you are the writer, producer, director, jack of all trades of the El Guey movie. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, man.
Nice to have you guys here.
Thank you.
How are you guys finding Laredo?
So far, so good. Yeah, I was really excited to come check out the comic book shop. Met you guys in San Antonio at the Texas Comic Con.
That's right. For those of you who saw a previous episode, I got to interview El Guey and Eduardo for a little bit. We're hoping to go into a lot more detail, more in depth here today. But right now, you know, how do you like Legacy Comics here?
It's pretty awesome. I'm really happy to be here. I'm a huge comic book nerd.
Yeah.
Huge.
I think we all are
geek.
here.
You know, I actually just got to hold the holy grail of Lucha Libre, the plaque with El Santo's mask.
That's
his
right.
Mask in it. So
Unbelievable.
yeah, so I'm in a good mood. It's
Yeah,
been great.
Yeah, me too. I love coming here. I usually make a beeline for the Transformers section. That's pretty much my thing. I'm always on the lookout for a new Transformer. Let's get into a little bit about you. You know, we've seen the trailer to El Guey. We kind of see where you are right now. But let's go a little further back. How did you get into film? You know, take us through that.
Well, I mean, when I first got started, I was watching Robert Rodriguez movies, and I was like, my parents weren't together at the time, so when I would spend time with my dad, I also got to spend time with my dad's side of the family and my cousins. And one of my cousins, Eric, he was like had all the cool comics, had all the toys and and movies and stuff. So I would stay at his house and hang out after school and watch movies. And I got to learn more about different Latino filmmakers like Guillermo del Toro and Alfonso Cuarón and Iñárritu. And it just got really, I don't know, I felt really excited, and I haven't ever felt that way. I wanted to be a pilot as a kid.
Oh wow!
I actually wanted to go be an astronaut, and living across from Lackland Air Force Base in San Antonio, and shout out to Lackland Air Force Base. Living there, I always just thought, hey man, I'm gonna join the Air Force, be a pilot, work my way up to an astronaut, and they told me I was colorblind.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I found I was colorblind, so I was like, great, which is interesting for a filmmaker.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
Have someone else, find a creative way to find color. But yeah, so I gave up on that whole dream, and I was like, I need something else, and just got really interested to filmmaking, and I've just been doing it ever since.
Wow, very good. What school did you go to? What's your master's? What's your
I'm in my undergraduate right now at the Art Institute of Austin. I've been to a couple different colleges. I was at the University of Texas at Arlington for a year. Met some really good network friends there. And then I transferred to AI Dallas because I wanted a more like hands-on shooting every weekend. And that's where El Guey got its start. Was for a film competition there, 7-day film race called the I think it was the horror film race. Started by some of the professors there. Did a really good job putting it together. Won best director. Wrote, shot, directed, edited everything. 7 days.
Take us through that process. How did you find out? When did the professor come out and say, "Here's your assignment. This is what you're gonna do. Here are the details"? How did that come about?
the way the school did it is they had a it was like open to students. You pay $10, $15 to get in, and it was off of class. So the only rule is as long as you didn't miss class to go shoot,
Oh, okay.
it's all good. So yeah, so it was like an off class kind of thing. So it wasn't for a grade, it was for something. But we were allowed to use these for portfolios. So I did in a way I drafted a little thing out of a hat, and it said clown and dolls and I think ghost.
Okay.
So I had to use that genre in my film, and I was like, how do I do that? I was like, clown. I was like, okay, ghost and dolls. Like, I don't know. I was like, but I've always wanted to do like a lucha libre horror film, like Santo Lemon.
Yes.
I was like, I'm just gonna try and throw these in. I'll throw in the line or something. I was like, ghost. La Llorona. She's a ghost. I was like, dolls. I was like, okay. I don't know. I was like, I'll throw that one out the window. I was like, clown. I was like, well, if you have like a mask and you draw, red and blues, and it looks kind of like a clown. I was like, well,
Easy.
not calling it clown, right?
No, but the trigger. See, that's his trigger in the film. Is that you call him a payaso or a clown, then he gets really upset. That's his word to set him off. So we put that together, and that's how the short film, was the concept was made, and I sat with my cousin and went over the storyline and asked him about the culture because he knew more too. And yeah, that's where it started.
How long was the shoot in that short
I
scene?
think we shot for 2 days.
Oh,
I think it's 2 days. Yeah.
Shot at a bar, and then we shot in the woods. And it was like in the backyard of my apartment complex.
Oh, okay. So you were LA for both the short and the feature length.
Yes.
Wow. What was the shoot like for the short? What was that like?
That one was nice. It was done so quickly, not too much sleep. That was the only thing about it.
Right.
But no, I enjoyed it. It was nice.
How did you
Really
become
liked
involved
it.
in it? How long have you known it?
I,
How did that come about?
I answered a casting call that he had put out, so I went to the audition, and that's when I met Eddie. And apparently he liked how I auditioned, so that's how I got the part for it.
What set him apart from the other candidates?
Well, we had a few people that auditioned via Skype and sent in resumes and stuff, and big guys, wrestlers too. But I think it was the fact that he had as a person, he's really nice, really cool. Which if you present a superhero to a child, you want that ability to be able to relate to, to be kid friendly. But also real tough and mad when you need to be. And so he was one of the few actors that had that ability to show both sides without losing the real machismo, luchador. So that's why I chose Ray. And he's from California, so everyone was asking, does he have a California accent in the movie? I was like, no, we actually practiced and we talked about it and went over the voice. It was like, try to make it a little grungier, a little harder, and we went through different styles and types, and we just still wanted to find a way to have Ray bring himself to that character. Yeah. And it's worked out really well.
Great. All right. Well, we're gonna go ahead and we're just gonna take a quick break here, guys, and then we will be right back with some more right after this.
Whoa! G'day, mateys! This is WWE legend Bushwhacker Luke. And when you're in Laredo, there's only one place to get your comics, and that's Legacy Comics. That's the place. You gotta go behind these walls and see what they've got. Figurines, comics, they've got the works. So get your A down here and get inside for the best place in Laredo. Or should I say, Texas. Right, guys? Right. Yay!
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're back here with Eduardo and El Way. We've been talking about the short film version of El Way. You filmed it and you won an award for it. How did you go then from the short film to actually coming up with the idea to do a feature length film? How did that come about?
Well, we submitted to San Antonio Film Festival and South by Southwest when the short was done, and didn't get into either one.
Okay.
Which kind of fueled the fire a little bit because I was like, my hometown didn't want it.
Right. Yeah.
I was like, I made this for them. And so I was like, I learned the lesson. I was like, well, I'm going to show it anyway. My business partner is also the co-producer, Jesse Campos. He plays the Chupacabra in the film.
Oh, okay.
He booked a venue that was outside of South by Southwest. Wasn't affiliated with them. It was just happening at the same time. And so we showed it there. It's like a backyard cafe house. And we had a bunch of cast and crew from a different film that he was a part of. And I got to network with them, and they saw it. And it was funny because we started playing the film. No one knew who I was, what the movie was about. And so it starts playing, first 30 seconds, all of a sudden people see like a masked wrestler on the screen, and people start sitting. So it started with like 5 people, and then it ended with like 40 people in the seats for the short film. And I was like, we might have something here. Yeah. So after talking and going to all the panels at South by Southwest, because really going to the festivals and working outside of just film school is like the best education you can get. It costs a lot, but it's cheaper than having to take thousands and thousands of dollars of classes. But no, you're meeting people that are actually in the industry, and so those are the people that I learned from. And now they were talking about their first features and how they went through it and how feasible it was. Now with the technology we have to make a feature film. And so I was like, well, let's do it. I was like, let's turn it away short into a feature. But my only stipulation is that we do it on the $7,000 budget, because Robert Rodriguez did it on $7,000. I was like, technically we should be able to show more than what he did because he was using film.
Yeah, that was like 20 years ago.
Yeah. So we did it on $7,000 and shot the action scenes and stunts and pulled in favors from left and right, and we were able to shoot a really good short film in the process of like 3 months.
Wow. How did you go about expanding what was... How long was the original short?
5 minutes, I think.
Yes, 5 minutes. How did you stretch 5 minutes to a feature length? How did you go about that?
I had ideas that I wanted to tell in the short, but I had to cut them out.
Okay.
And so I had a storyline arc. So Jesse and I got together after South by. We're like, okay, we're going to do this feature. We're going to make this company. We're going to do it. And so we sat down and did a storyline outline for the film. But, okay, let's throw these events that happened in the short. Those are the main plot points. And now let's tie in the background of the character. And then let's go ahead and throw in some more suspenseful moments. And now let's throw in some fight scenes. I like, a wrestling scene needs to be in there. That goes right there. And so eventually we came up with like an outline, 2.5 pages of what would happen in this story arc. And I started writing just, dialogue and scenes and actions, because I had all the ideas, had everything on paper, and just kind of threw it in. Jesse threw in some of his ideas and sent me a part of his script. He had a big idea of how to throw in the background story of how LA became LA.
Oh, okay. So we're gonna get a bit of an origin.
You'll see a little bit of origin in the film.
Nice.
During his wrestling scene. So, but yeah, that's how we came up with it and stretched it all out. And I was really, really happy to the film itself represents kind of who I am, what my background is, and hopefully because I've been raised in the Hispanic culture, Mexican American culture, that Chicanos also can relate to the story and characters. You
were mentioning the wrestling scenes. What was that like? What was the training, the preparation for not just the wrestling scenes but the action scenes itself? What was that like?
Well, the action scenes I love. I love all of that. The only problem is when we're shooting the 2 days, Saturday and Sunday, shooting the actual fight scenes, it was 110 degrees in the boxing gym.
I think those of us in
no fan, nothing.
South Texas.
You talk about
we know what
getting burned out. Oh yeah, it was trying, but like somebody had told me. In fact, I think it was Jesse's brother had said that pain is temporary, but film is forever. So gut it out. Okay, so you suffer a little bit for the good, but it came out great. Trained a lot and worked out. Lupe Trejo, who also plays the Texas Renegade, he was there, and it's our battle together, but he's the one that choreographed the fights, taught me a lot of moves and everything. So.
How did you get in contact with Lupe Trejo? How did that come?
Well, Lupe sent a casting call way back. So some of the people that actually send their resumes and casting calls to play Lupe, I kept them and I wanted to get them in the feature. I was like, maybe not for the short, but hey, we'll keep you in touch. And so Jesse, Jesse Campos actually called Lupe and was like, hey, you should be in this. And Lupe also was a stunt double in like one scene.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Ray does all the stunts
awesome, though.
except for like one scene.
Stunt doubles, that's pretty good.
Because I was like, Ray's exhausted because the other day he was just like went all out. I was like, can we? Lupe is trained, and the other stunt actors we had were also trained. I was like, but Ray's got experience, but he wasn't like a certified trained. I was like, if something happens. I'm worried.
Where's the movie?
I was like, so I was like,
Who's
we'll let the trained guys do it because if they get hurt or something happens to them, they're certified. They're professionals. They can do it. So we had Lupe do a couple of stunts, flipping the people over.
Right.
Yeah, but it was a lot of fun. So yeah, Lupe helped us out a lot, choreographed the fight scenes, and then a lot.
And it's not just wrestling fight scenes, right? There's actual
actual
action fight brawls and stuff like that.
He can tell you all about that.
What's that like? Moving
that
from
was
the
fun.
wrestling to actual.
Well, it just reminds me of my days in the past. Not so far in the past, but just I don't know. You just reflect on things. I guess I don't want to say too much, but in the past, you just reflect on things that how they were. But El Way stands for the people. I fight for the people. Try to give them faith in their heart to believe in themselves. And so I'm always going after the bad guys. And in the process of going after the bad guys, I get attacked. And so then
and
I do what I have to do.
It's very interesting you say El Way is for the people. That's something that people say about Zorro, which is probably the first Hispanic superhero that really crossed over into the United States. But that was like in the early 1900s, So it's good to see another Mexican superhero coming up and fighting for the people, as you say. What was the shoot like itself? Because apart from action, which I imagine would be fun and all that, what was the shooting dialogue and story and emotion? What was that like?
Well, I mean, this is my first feature film directing, and I had directed some shorts before and things. So I just had a book that was given to me from a friend of mine, Bill Flynn, who's one of my first mentors in Dallas, and it was all about directing actors and how to talk to them. Instead of just saying, "Oh yeah, be more angry," he'd say, "Hey, can you be a little bit more frustrated?" As if in a given situation. So having to get the emotions out of it and the dialogue and matching it was the first for me to go in that feature film, but it was like when I felt it, then I knew it's good. Sometimes people would be like, you don't want like a third take or fifth take, just to try something different. And I was like, why waste time?
That's the one.
Yeah, it's like I think the hardest process in the whole filmmaking is this is my first feature film, was proving to these professionals that are out there that are investing their money in me and time and effort that, hey, I may not be the Robert Rodriguez right now, or may not have the big budget, but when I know what I want, I trust me, it's gonna be good, and so that's what we went for every time. It's like if I got it, I'll do one just in case maybe the light was in the wrong spot, but when I got it, and so that's why, hopefully it shows off in the film. I mean, I like it so far. So,
what was it like having to act behind a mask? Sort of being probably a little limited, in terms of what you can do with your facial expression. But what was it like trying to convey emotion?
I guess in certain scenes where I have with the Padre, because I would go in this film, I go to him, kind of like for advice. And he plays like that father while he's the priest, he plays that fatherly type. But to show my emotions, I mean, obviously you're not going to see them that much on my face, but you can tell my eyes, how I look, and the tone of my voice. And so as an actor, I practice those things as I have my script, and I just go over them through my head to figure out how this certain scene is going to go down, because I know that my character in a certain scene is going to feel down, because I'm about to attempt to get very close to this chupacabra. And this guy's a shapeshifter. I mean, what is it?
Very interesting.
And close to getting to him, and I don't think I can do it.
Wow.
I'm actually
Okay.
believing that I cannot. And that's when I have my dialogue, with the Padre. And so I have to lower my voice, and it just almost like weeping.
Wow.
Because how am I going to do it? I need to do it. It needs to be done, but I don't believe in my heart that I can. And so it's the Padre who gives me that hope once again
That's good.
to go out and do it.
That's very interesting. A lot of superheroes have that mentor character. Batman has his Alfred. Tony Stark even has Jarvis. And stuff.
Yeah.
So that's very interesting. That you have the priest. Let's talk a little bit about some of the other cast members.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about them. They couldn't be here to join us, but let's hear a little
La
bit
Llorona
about
is played
them.
by Elle Lamont. She's an amazing actress. She's on the rise. We got lucky enough to even have her in our film. Because right now she's like the most booked talent in Texas.
Really? Wow.
She's constantly
That's
busy.
awesome.
She's in Machete Kills. It's one of her
Wow.
Robert Rodriguez.
Yeah.
She's shares the screen with Sofia Vergara. So if you see any of the scenes with all the girls, you'll see her there. She plays Dollface, I think is the character's name.
Wow, that's
But she was amazing. She was really nice, really cool. When she came to audition, the funny thing is, I didn't believe that she would fit the role. And then she showed me her reel, and she kind of sensed that I wasn't convinced.
Right.
And then she showed me her reel, and part of her reel there was a voiceover that she did. And it was very soothing and soft, but a strong female voice.
Yeah.
Almost like a detective or something. If Batman was a girl, what would it sound like? If Batman, the
That's
Batman.
interesting.
So I was like, wow. It's okay, that convinced me. So brought her on board, and we had planned to shoot this scene that opens up the movie. And it's an Aztec scene. It talks about all the ancestry of how these characters, because they're all immortal, and they live in the in the present tense in our world, but they are actually the characters. Chupacabra is the Chupacabra.
Yes.
So La Llorona is La Llorona in the past, and so I wanted to shoot that scene, so we came up with an idea to turn it into a motion graphic opening instead.
Oh,
Which we showed at Texas Comic Con.
That's right.
So that scene sets up the whole backstory for all the characters, how they met, and everything. But she's great in it. Love her to death. She's awesome. Elle, if you're watching, I think everyone wants you to come with us to all the Comic Cons now. So. And then Jesse, of course, Jesse's my business partner. Jesse's been in a lot of films, short films, feature films, doing stunts. And I asked him, I was like, hey, I want to give you another feature role, pretty big character role.
Right.
And he was like, yeah, all right, cool, let's do it. He helped me raise the funds for it. And Adam is a really good friend of mine. It was one of his bucket list things to be in a film.
Oh, great.
And
Check
so
that one out.
he showed me Todd Bridges in the Black Keys music video, the Howlin' For You, and I was like, you should play a priest. I was like, how can we get you in there? And we're just coming up with ideas randomly, and I was like, when I did the short film, I was like, hey, you should play the priest in the short film. So he's also in the short film as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and we invited him back to be in the feature, and I'm hoping to get action figures of all the characters made.
This was beautifully made. Fantastic. Was there anyone that you had to recast from the short film to the feature length?
La Llorona?
La Llorona,
Yeah,
okay.
the original was a friend of mine, and she's a pinup model and all that stuff. So I put her in there, and then we, were looking. It was 3 days before shooting in the summer,
Wow.
and that's when we
That's
found
cutting
out.
it
So it
close.
was literally 3 days before day one of shooting.
Yeah.
I was like, Elle came, and I was like, perfect timing. It's like, that's why I was like, I don't want to just cheese you because it's 3 days. I want to make sure it's right.
Yeah,
And she,
yeah.
she did a good job. So.
That's great. That's great. All right. Well, we're going to go ahead. We're going to take another break, ladies and gentlemen, but we'll be right back with more after this.
Alrighty.
Ladies and gentlemen, here we have the brand new I'm Better Than Onyx t-shirt. Event tickets, $5. Merchandise, $20. Surviving the Onyx Challenge, priceless. We're better than Onyx.
This is the Batman of San Antonio, and you're watching Ringside Chronicles. Yeah, do it.
All right, welcome back here at the Ringside Chronicles. Now, you had mentioned Machete Kills earlier. El Way here had a role. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah,
You were actually
Ray's
in.
in Machete Kills.
Ray
Yeah,
was in Machete Kills. Tell us about that.
Well, yeah, it's kind of funny. They had called me, to come in and do a scene. Well, that was the first day of filming for Ed Way, so I just told them I couldn't do it.
You
but-
turned them down.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was honored.
Incredible.
Thanks,
That's
man.
incredible.
Yeah. What was incredible was when we had completed, and it was maybe like, I would say about 2 or 3 days after we had completed filming, that they had called back, and asked me, well, we have another scene, would you like to be in it? So I'm like, oh, sure, I did. So I got to film with Danny Trejo, also got to see Michelle Rodriguez, so it was fun. I had a blast.
Incredible.
It was great.
Actually say no because you had another commitment.
Yeah.
And still get a call back. That's something like that doesn't really happen. You tell them no, then that's pretty much it. But you got the role. So how long was that shoot? What was that like?
That was just a one day,
Just one
all
day?
day shoot. Yeah, but it was a good shoot. I
I'll
loved
bet,
it. I
yeah.
enjoyed it.
That's good.
A lot
That's
of
good.
fun.
So let's talk a little bit about pretty much the origins of El Wayne, the movie. What was the inspiration?
Well,
behind that?
I mean, I'm a huge comic book fan, and the one thing I've noticed is that there are Hispanic characters in different universes in comic books, but there's never a central, Chicano superhero that everybody knows. I mean, in Mexico you have, Santo,
Oh yeah,
and I mean, obviously, but
it's a Mexican icon. right
yeah,
there.
here in the United States, there's nothing. And that is like, you say, oh yeah, what, this character. And everyone, like, all Chicanos, like, yeah, I love that
Yeah.
guy, Rey Mysterio is probably the closest,
Yeah.
but that's a wrestler. It's not a comic book superhero created by Marvel or DC. And so my question was, what's taking them so long?
Yeah.
So I was like, well, I'll do it. I was like, I will
go.
take that challenge. I'll give it a shot. Hopefully people like it. And I threw in lucha libre, I threw in horror, and I threw in action, and the stories I was told as a kid. I was like, well, what if there was a luchador who's also a bounty hunter? Because the Santo and Blue Demon films are what inspired me to make,
Oh yeah.
the film. They fought off the, Momias de Guanajuato. They fought off, La Llorona, one of them. Werewolf, Frankenstein, the vampiros, you name it, they've done it.
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, we could do a comic book series with, every character. You have like La Chusa, Guey, La Llorona, all these Mexican folktales grew up as a kid as the villains in every comic book issue or every film or episode.
Right.
So I was like, well, I want to make it not to just make a movie and say, I made a movie and sold it to Hollywood and now I'm a famous director or something. I wanted to make it so that the people actually had a superhero for once and say, that is who I am. If I see that on screen, that represents my culture, my family. I mean, one thing about Chicano culture is that, when everyone asks, well, what's a Chicano? It's like, well, is it Mexican American? It's, well, a Chicano in California is different from a Chicano in Texas, different from a Chicano in New York. But the one thing we all have in common is that we're all fighters, no matter what. We fight for becoming more successful, or we're given the baton from our family in hopes to become more successful and go further in the race. And so that's what I wanted to show, is like, I need the superhero needs to be a luchador. He won't be just a normal guy, whatever. It's gonna be like the Mexican Batman.
Yeah.
He's not gonna have any superpowers. His superpower is his corazon.
Right.
So in the real world, we don't have superpowers. We can't fly. We can, but he's like, yeah, we're Tony Stark. He got money.
Yeah.
He can make a suit. But we don't have all of that. So what we have? Well, we only have to believe in ourselves. That's all we have. When we're down and out, family can't be there for you. Friends can't be there for you. You only have yourself.
Yeah.
And that's the whole message of the film. As long as you have faith in yourself, you become your own hero. You don't really need anyone else. You have yourself. And as long as you have faith, you can overcome whatever demons, obstacles. So that's why we came up with the film, was to, present that to the public. Hopefully they like it and can finally say yes. And if you guys want to see more of El Way, go like the Facebook, email Marvel, email DC, just like, what is taking you guys so long? Because this is one of those kind of characters that just needs to be made for the people.
And yeah, it's very interesting you mentioned that, You say he has to be a luchador, and that's something that's very, very specific Hispanic. You know, it's right there. You know, because yes, there's wrestling everywhere, but in Mexico and for Hispanics, wrestling is like religion. You know, those masks are sacred. And you mentioned that he's a fighter, and
Yeah,
I
football,
think
and then you have lucha.
there couldn't have been any other profession for him to have than to be. If he's a fighter and he's Hispanic, it's got to be a luchador. So after you finished filming and the production ran 3 months, I believe you said.
Yeah, we shot it in like 3 weeks. It was over my summer break for school.
Oh, okay.
I went back to classes, and then over the weekends we looked at some of the rough edits and see what was missing, what shots we didn't have in the script, things we couldn't have time to shoot. Some things fall through, Murphy's Law. So yeah, I would go back to Austin and shoot, and over the course of about 3 months total, from beginning to last day of shooting. That's action sequences and everything. That's about how much time it took.
What's the post production like been for you?
I've gone through like 4 different editors.
Wow.
Not because they didn't do a bad job or anything. It's just because I was in Dallas and my business partner was here in Austin. So I edited the first rough cut. I just wanted to throw my vision on a timeline, and then we screened that. And then after that, I wanted to focus more on school because my grades were dropping. I was like, I really gotta pick up my grades. And so I focused on school, and I handed the edit off to a friend of mine in Dallas to start editing for me. And the thing was, we needed more funds also because he organized all the footage and because every time we used Premiere Pro, something got lost or something, so it was just like a big mess. But he organized everything for me. So and then once he did, he was like, "Hey, I'm getting busy. I'm gonna have another gig. I won't be able to edit this for you." I was like, "Hey, that's totally understandable." He's like, paid versus free. I'm not paid any day. So I gave it to my business partner Jesse. I was like, if you can find an editor who would be willing to basically work for nothing, and put a lot of passion and energy into getting this film, in the vision that we've agreed on, that'd be great. And so I passed off the edit, and he gave it to Daniel Cortez, and he did a really good job with it. And so far, right now we're at almost a picture lock.
Okay.
We're just getting like some of the credits finalized. We did some donations and stuff at Texas Comic Con, so we're putting their names in the special thank you credits. And we're doing an audio mix, 5.1 mix for the film.
Nice.
Which is going to be tough because, having one audio guy running around, it's independent film, and you got like 3 people doing, multiple things, trying to keep track of just one thing. But once it's all organized and good and mixed, we'll be able to get it out. So we're hoping that around mid-October we'll be completely done this year.
Great.
So I can officially say that, because we're pretty much almost done.
All right. How have you been keeping busy since then? I know you've been doing like the cons and stuff like that. What's
well, the one thing about film that I've learned, 'cause it's all a learning experience for me. They don't teach you how to do this in film school.
Right.
I mean, the networking and getting the technical aspects on everything else is like everyone has their own path. So one thing business wise that I was learning was, it's not really the film sales that'll help get the word out. It's the marketing and keeping the buzz going.
Yes.
The film's not done, but we've been to Texas Comic Con. We've been invited to different Comic Cons around Texas. Being here, the LWA in Laredo, it's another promotion event for us. So yeah, we were planning on getting a new manager to help us go to different, Comic Cons, and hopefully I can do that while I go to school. So it's like, I have a part-time job too, so if I can do this most of my time and then, go to school, because I still have another year to graduate.
Oh, okay.
Hopefully when we finish the movie this year, next year we start sending out distribution companies. We want to hit up people like PAL Entertainment, El Rey Network, those are the kind of people that will help us get it into, the mass market. And yeah, just as long as we get more fans on Facebook, the more fans we get, the
what's
more
the movie's Facebook?
It's facebook.com/Elway the movie. ELGUEY.
Are you guys still accepting donations?
Yeah, any 10 cents, 5 cents, $1 helps.
How can they help out with that?
We can put a PayPal link on our website. I did start a GoFundMe, and it was called GoFundMe.com/FearForward campaign, and it was for an autobiography, and I wanted to just do Ilway full time.
Oh.
So I put a budget on there to say if I was gonna, pay my rent and do this and put all the money into making marketing and T-shirts, how much would I need? And I came up with a number. But I'm thinking of just changing that out because I'm so far it's just traveling and doing things. It's been good exposure enough. Whether we do prints or T-shirts or marketing, it's just getting the word out. Free marketing.
Yes,
essentially
absolutely.
is always word of mouth. So that's what we're gonna start doing. And in any city we go to, we'll be in San Antonio soon. We're based in Austin, going to Dallas, here in Laredo for the South Texas Comic Expo.
The Collector Expo.
Collector
coming
Expo.
up.
Yep. So that we'll be here for that. And yeah, if people want to donate, they can I'll put a PayPal link on the Facebook.
There you go. We'll put
click
that
like.
Yes,
That'll be the
Facebook.
best donation ever.
Is there a
click
Twitter?
Like. Twitter, I believe Twitter, Ilway the movie.
Very good. So let's say we're looking at best case scenario in movie does well, gets name out, potential sequel. Any idea, untapped ideas for Ilway?
There are. We've talked about them. I told them all the ideas are up in here right now, but I'm writing out an outline. We want to do a sequel. The only problem with doing a sequel is bigger and better. This is my El Mariachi. So in order to do a sequel film means doing full time for 2 years straight, doing just that. So I'd like to graduate first before I take on the next project. But we're also thinking about doing a webisode series.
Oh, very interesting.
For Ilway. We can shoot them on a weekend, edit them together, and they're small, they're short episodes, do it really professional, really nice, small budget. Put it on YouTube for free for the fans, and then just continue doing a story that way. We also want to do digital comics, do web comics. So if we do digital web comics, you can put that on YouTube, our channel. We have, I think it's Ilway. You go to YouTube, it's Ilway movie. And yeah, so that's where I'm trying to gear more towards that, because the more content we have about Ilway, I think the more interested distribution companies will be in it.
Oh yeah.
As far as just a one film, one action figure, T-shirt. If they see thousands of fans, 2,000, 3,000 fans on the Facebook, and then they see we actually made action figures, and we have T-shirts, and we have webisodes, and we have a following.
Marketing out. Exactly.
It's all about the fans. The fans are the only way that this really gets out. So
So I imagine you enjoyed the experience, so you would definitely be up for telling more stories about Ilway.
Oh yes, definitely.
That would be great. Great. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna go ahead and take one last.
Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Onyx, Manager of Champions. You may also know me from my Onyx Challenges. I am the undefeated champion of managers. There are no managers out there in the wrestling world today who are better than me. Now I heard that LWA is arranging some sort of meet and greet for some fancy movie director named Eduardo Antonio Tobias. What sort of name is that? And why is this man going to show his face at LWA paying dues? What for? No one cares about that fancy little movie you're making. What is it called? Ilway? No one's going to watch that. No one cares about that. People are busy going to YouTube, looking at my Onyx challenges, looking at anything that my clients are in. Not this movie. Give me a break. You have no business in my ring. In fact, you're lucky that your little movie star, Ilway himself, is not going to be there on July 26th. I bet that loser doesn't even know how to put someone in a chokehold, or a sleeper hold, or a body slam, or anything of that nature. I bet he knows not one single wrestling move. He probably had a stunt double do everything for him. So, consider this a warning. Stick to Hollywood or wherever you belong, not in my ring. You've been warned.
All right, we are back here for our final break. Gentlemen, I wanted to ask you one last thing. You mentioned the LWA earlier. You're going to be participating at the LWA show. What do you think about what Onyx had to say?
had to say. I don't know her.
Well, Onyx is actually one of the managers, and he had some things to say about you in particular.
Did she?
Yeah,
Like?
that you are not worthy to be in the ring with Onyx.
Is that what she said? Let me tell you something about the LWA. That ring is mine. Okay? It's the ring of Ed Way. And she wants to put a... Is she even here? She looking? Let me tell you something. She can go put a dress on and step into that ring. You want some? You come take it. I'm Ed Way. And I'm for the people.
Has Onyx ever fought a supernatural being?
No, I don't believe Onyx has.
Yeah, so I would say that Italy's got a one-up on him on that one.
I do have to warn you, Onyx is undefeated in his Onyx challenges.
Edway's undefeated in supernatural beings being fought, so...
Who did she
know.
challenge?
Well, I know a couple of, I think Onyx pinned a child a few weeks ago.
Yeah. One was Peter Pan.
He's beaten a few women in some arm wrestling, I believe.
Yeah, she's kind of tough. Let me tell you something. You put that dress on, you come see me if you think you can take it. You, Onyx, have been warned.
There you go, Onyx. You've been warned.
Bring it.
Gentlemen, it's been great having you guys here. Any final thoughts? Either regarding the movies, regarding the fans, anything?
Anybody out there that is wanting to be a filmmaker or wanting to go in, do your own story, now's the time. You know, write it on a piece of paper. Most importantly, I would say, think about the business a little bit. You know, great stories are awesome, but if you have no way of getting it out to the people, you know, share your stories, a way to share it, whether it's YouTube, Vimeo, festivals, you know, selling it yourself. Either way, you control your own destiny. You control the only way you can get your film out. So no matter how many people tell you no, just keep going, keep trucking, keep banging your head against that wall, because eventually that wall's going to break and you're going to get in. And that's what we're going to keep doing until we get out there. So hopefully you guys support us, like us on Facebook, but that's basically what I want to tell you guys. Just keep going. Have faith. Dios le bendiga.
Great, great.
Yeah,
Anyway, any final thoughts?
I don't know. I'm just kind of lit about tonight.
Should be great, though.
I'm going to be in that ring defending what's mine, what I'm going to take, and what I believe is mine. I don't think anybody out there would take it from me, to be honest with you. I'm going to tell you what. Onyx, I hope you show your face up tonight. I really do. Don't forget that skirt either, okay? You've been warned a second time.
All right.
I'll be there.
See you there, Onyx.
Fantastic. Gentlemen, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Eddie,
Thank you.
by the way, thank
Apologize
you.
for
No,
being able
no,
to say it.
absolutely. Whenever you got something to say, you say it. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Well, everybody, thank you all for joining us here at the Ringside Chronicles, and we'll see you next time.
See you guys.
Thank you.
I know I'm living, but this life ain't for me, and I still forever wanna get away, and I will show you that you're wrong, and I still believe there's another way.
1, 2, 3. Gracias. ¿Listo?
Gracias.